How's this Saturday morning going? I be up doing all kinds of shit, right? Trying to figure out what the hell is going on with the world. What is going on with the world, right? You can't never, ever, ever figure out what's going on with the world when you have bullshit going on. You always got bullshit going on with this world.
Arguments are likely to begin in April, and a decision is expected from the Supreme Court by the end of June. Now, this could redefine who is considered an American. Remember, after Mr. Trump was inaugurated, hours after, he signed an executive order that states children of undocumented immigrants born in the United States would no longer be entitled to citizenship. In 1898, the Supreme Court guaranteed citizenship to just about everybody born in the U.S., but on the campaign trail, Trump pledged to end that practice. Due to legal challenges, that executive order hasn't taken effect.
Y'all hold on. Because we got a whole bunch of shit going on in this world today. What is going on? I hate that I don't know how to put this
straight.
shit.
9 of the 10 states with the worst economies are red states. 9 of the 10 states with the most poverty is red states. 8 of the 10 states with the worst education is red states. 8 of the 10 states with the worst infrastructure is red states. 9 of the 10 poorest states are red states.
Right.
7 of the worst 10 states for crime are red states. And 9 of the worst states out of the bottom 10 on the happiness ranking are red states. And those are the people we decided should run the whole country?
Yeah, they feel like they're entitled to run the whole country. And yet and still, why do we have to deal with the shit that we have been dealing with? It's like every day something comes up. I don't understand. Every day something comes up. And I believe it's just a matter of them trying to keep us all off guard. I believe that specifically. I believe this is the reason why they do it. It's to keep us all off guard, to knock us off our square every day. Every day we get knocked off our square, but it's this administration.
Well, every white person in this room who wants to be treated the way we have treated people of color in this country, if you'd like to be treated that way, all you white folks, if you want that for the rest of your life, please stand. Did you understand the directions? If you're white and you think blacks have got it so good in this country and you want to be treated the way they have been for the rest of your life, just stand up. You know why you aren't standing. You know it's ugly, and you know it's happening, and you know you don't want it to happen to you. So I want to know why you're so willing to allow it for others. Well, every white person in this room who wants to be treated the way we have treated people of color in this country, if you'd like to be treated that way, all you white folks, if you want that for the rest of your life, please stand.
I love that clip from that lady. I love that clip from that lady because that encompasses everything you need to know. Because nobody would want to be somebody black. And you have to ask yourself, why wouldn't you be why wouldn't you want to be a decent, hardworking American black? Why wouldn't you want to? That's the question.
What is a single-payer healthcare system, and why do we need it? In a single-payer system, the government pays for all of its citizens' healthcare needs. This gives them incredible bargaining power to drive down the price of services and medicines. It's not a handout because, keep in mind, we pay the government in the form of our taxes, and we should expect services in return. And we're the only industrialized nation that does not provide universal healthcare to all of its citizens. This is incredibly important now because the cost of healthcare is rising faster than inflation. It's become so expensive that 4 out of 10 Americans are putting off seeking care in order to pay for things like food. Even people with employer-based coverage are having trouble paying for their insurance because of high out-of-pocket costs. It's time that we switch to a single-payer system. Healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I beg your very finest of pardons, but what the hell are you talking about?
I am a wrestling coach in Iowa, mother of 4. I voted conservative.
No. You voted Trump. You didn't vote conservative. You voted MAGA.
The craziest thing has happened to me a few weeks ago, and I really feel the need to share it from the position of a very pissed off conservative Christian woman.
A couple of things left out there. A very pissed off conservative Christian white privileged woman.
I almost died. I almost died because I was denied medical care here in Iowa after being diagnosed with a fatal fetus.
That's what you voted for.
So my baby was not going to make it. There was no chance of it. We got multiple opinions. No chance. Shortly after that, my health started to rapidly decline, and I was not able to seek care in a timely manner or nearly at all without really, truly advocating for myself. And I almost died. And in 2025 America, I don't think that should even have to be possibly an option.
Were you living under a rock in the lead up to the elections? Did you not hear the millions of women online screaming about abortions, about the right to have an abortion being taken away from you, that you were voting in as a turkey voting for Christmas? What the hell were you voting on?
I was told to miscarry at home or wait it out or ask Google what to do.
When you heard people talking about Roe v. Wade, did you think it was some kind of architectural firm?
When I asked where could I go for a resolution to my problem, sorry, our hands are tied, we can't tell you. What is the point of you? Why am I hitting up Google and ChatGPT for my medical advice?
Because you voted in a man and a government that made it illegal for medical professionals to provide you with the procedure that you needed to get rid of that fetus. That made it so medical professionals couldn't even give you the advice you need without being arrested. What the hell did you think we were all protesting for?
Like, what in the world? So I had a fetus in me that's poisoning me from the inside out. I have 3 healthy, lovely children at home, a business to run, a husband, and I'm not allowed to choose me? Where's the pro-life in that?
The white privilege, the class privilege that you are displaying here is just phenomenal. All of the stories that have been in the media that have been showing young girls in car parks or in their beds at home because they can't get the procedure that they need because their own bodies and the unfortunately unalive little bodies they were carrying are them. Did you just ignore all of those because it's not you? It's not you that needed it at that point. But now it's outrageous because you needed it. My God, woman.
Pro-life, like, choose me, choose the mother. We're completely forgetting the mother in this situation. At no point should a dying fetus have more precedence in a healthcare system over a healthy mother who's contributing positively to society. Like, my God, please help us.
Am I going fucking crazy? Am I asleep? Is this a dream? I am a 53-year-old childless woman in Liverpool, UK. I know what's going on in your country. I know what you voted for. I know what Roe v. Wade is. Why don't you?
Like, this is not what we voted for, you guys.
This is exactly what you voted for. Jesus Christ, you daft bint.
This is not it. Doctors should not be afraid to do their job. And that is the case here in Iowa. It's not that they don't want to help us. It's that they are afraid to do their job.
I would love to say something more eloquent, but all I've got at this point is, well, duh.
Politics and religion have no place in healthcare. They have no place on my body, on my health.
But I'll bet you do believe religion has a place in politics, don't you? And your body and the rights of your body is politics.
So I'm going to do a series on this. If you have any questions, any comments, if you are going through something similar or know someone who is, let's get into this.
American women, Iowan women, I can't recommend this enough. If you do have any questions or concerns about this, about what we've just been talking about, don't go to that woman. Don't, for the love of fucking God, go for that woman. She didn't even have the common sense to know what she was voting for. She seems to be completely unaware that what she voted for was exactly what she got. Why on earth would you go to her for advice? This is why politics is so important. This is why you can't turn your face away and go, oh, so boring, I'll just tick what I always tick. Because what that woman there voted for wasn't just fascism, it wasn't just the idiocy of Trump. What she voted for was the near death of herself. And unfortunately, the deaths of other women. Where the hell is that woman who sings "I Never Thought the Leopard Would Eat My Face" song?
See, we need to talk about single payer. We need to talk about healthcare, period, in this country. We just need to do it. It is what it is. I don't want to hear jack shit about abortion. I don't want to hear jack shit about this is what we voted for. I don't want to hear jack shit about none of that. Every person should have some kind of insurance. And the only insurance that people and the American people can afford is probably single payer. And most people are going to say, "Oh, we want a single payer, blah blah blah. We don't want to pay for other people's health care. You're already paying for other people's health care, so shut the fuck up about that." So we need to have a discussion about single payer health care. Congress made decisions that pushed millions of Americans off government-supported health care. And they decided that they were not going to vote for the ACA. Well, the Republicans decided that they weren't going to vote for the ACA. So you're going to have millions of people kicked off of health care who can't really afford health care anyway, but they were trying to afford health care. Okay? People are going to be confused, scared, scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of these rich people having all of the freaking decision making. All of decision making. People should have health care. This is not about politics anymore because there's too many people that are going to be kicked off. It's about survival. It's about people dying under this careless attitude of Congress not to provide people with health care. When people lose this coverage, they don't magically stop getting sick. People don't stop getting sick. People get sick every day. They just stop going to the fucking doctor until it's too late. Right now, a lot of Americans are being told you make too much money to get help, or you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps to get help, or any of the other bullshit thing. Only when it hits home do people give a fuck about it. Only when your mother doesn't have coverage for cancer do you give a fuck about it. Only if you break your leg do you give a fuck about it. That's the fucking problem that we got in this country. Callous human beings. Families are choosing between paying the rent, groceries, or going to the fucking doctor. I know, like I told somebody the other day, I went to the doctor for a recent back pain that I had, a stretch. I don't know what the fuck it was. I walked in the door and they told me $270 fucking copay or the beginning of or whatever the fuck. And I was like, oh no. I hope that ain't how most Americans are is hitting their pocket like that. People are skipping care. Adults are skipping to going to the doctor because the kids got to be seen. Rationing medicine. Our adults, our older generation shouldn't be rationing Medicare. Okay? Thinking I'll hold it off. Maybe I'll be able to afford it next year. Maybe I'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. No. We can't afford it now. And we ain't going to be able to afford it next year. Not with the way this administration is taking away everything that helps people function. I don't understand. I really don't understand how Christians just look you in the eyeball and then take away all the safety nets because they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That mentality. How does that mentality work for every human being? It didn't work for it don't work for nobody, really. Only unless it hits you does it work for you. Then that works for you. Right now, a whole bunch of us are saying you can. A whole bunch of us being told that we can't get the ACA. The ACA is finna go away. We're trying to get rid of Obamacare. The Republicans don't have a plan. Don't shit on the plan, the only plan people got. Don't shit on the only plan that people got and don't have nothing to replace it. You ain't got nothing to replace it with. That's the fucking problem I got with the Republicans. You shit on ACA, but you don't have anything to help the American people. But see, the honest to God truth is the Republicans don't want you to have medical insurance. They don't want to pay for medical insurance. They don't want you to have any way, shape, or form the government helping with medical insurance. But single payer keeps coming up because it's the one system that covers everybody. No matter your job, income, or zip code, it doesn't punish you for working more hours than somebody else or switching a job or something else. Everybody has it. It doesn't disappear when Congress changes it from Republican to Democrat like this one did. Whether the budget is tight or not, healthcare becomes something stable that you can depend on. I can always be covered. You can always take care of X, Y, and Z. Okay? At the end of the day, this is about helping all Americans. All Americans. But most people only think of themselves. I want you to stop thinking of yourself and think of what is collectively good for the country. What is collectively good for the country? Okay? Not deserving Americans, not just working Americans, not Americans who fit into a category, not white Americans, not black Americans, not any Americans, all Americans. I'm asking you to think beyond yourself. When people are healthy, they work, they care for their family, they contribute to the community. A country that's going to abandon those sick people is not a fucking strong country. You're only as strong as your weakest link. Talking about single payer is about fixing what's broken and choosing people over this fucking profit. Okay? Over fucking profit. And people say, oh no, a single payer, we can't afford single payer. No, the fuck, yes we can. Did nobody worry about sending no money to, don't nobody worry about sending money to Israel, Egypt, Ukraine, Argentina. Don't nobody worry about loaning them money, sending them money, giving them money. Don't nobody worry about any of those things. Why is that? But when it comes to helping your fellow American, why is it people bitching? Why? Because it's always about, I don't want the other man to get more than me. I don't want the other man to be deserving of me, of something I should get freely too. We're not talking about just you getting it freely. We're talking about everybody getting it freely. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons why it would be good to have single payer. First one is everybody's covered. There's no person that doesn't get covered, X, Y, and Z. Healthcare, we should all think of healthcare, single payer healthcare, as a right, not just a privilege. Everybody thinks of healthcare as a privilege. Now, oh shit, if you got a job, you can afford it. Shit, if you got money, you can afford it. You don't lose coverage because you lose a job, get divorced, or move across states or change employer. You should have healthcare regardless. If everybody had that mindset. And you know what? We poor people, and I'm talking about the poor people between the amounts of 40 amount who make between amounts 30,000 and 150,000. I'm saying the working middle class. 30,000 to 150. That's middle working class. We need to do something for our working class. Only way we can unburden ourselves, I think, is if we work. Every one of us wants to have medical. Every one of us. So we got to do something that helps the middle class. Single payer helps the middle class. That helps the middle class off the bat. Okay? It's coverage from birth to death. You don't make too much for single payer, but you see, that's the problem with Medicaid and Medicare. Some people can't get on it because they make too much. No, with this single payer system, everybody gets covered. Single payer system. Okay. It will cost less too. Okay. The US we already spend more per person on healthcare than any other freaking country. Yet millions of us are not insured. Single payer will cost less. No insurance middleman. No billing department, no fraction of billing departments everywhere. Lower drug prices off the bat. Because the government will be negotiating for these lower prices. We already pay the money. Single payer just spends the money smarter. That's all. You get to choose your doctor, not an insurance company. Out of network bullshit, prior authorization bullshit. That's out the window. Insurance companies overruling that's out the window. Your doctor decides your care, not an insurance adjuster who's never met you, who never knows any of these things. Everybody should be covered. Healthcare decisions should be returned to the patient and the doctors where they belong. I think people would be healthier if they knew they didn't have a bill and they can just go to the doctor and they wouldn't get charged. Unless you went to specialty. When people delay healthcare because of cost, small problems turn into bigger problems. There's preventative care. That's encouraged. We want that. Chronic illnesses are managed earlier. I'm sick. I don't want to go to doctor. What people do right now is I'm sick until I can't function. Then I go to the emergency room. Now you don't have to do that. With single payer, you can just go to a doctor, and a doctor tells you X, Y, and Z. Less ER doctors, because I know for a fact when I don't have insurance, I go to the ER. If I don't have insurance, I go to the ER. That saves a lot of money. Single payer would save a lot of money. Okay. And a lot of people get jobs, keep jobs, want jobs because they got to have insurance. How many young people work to put their parents on their insurance if they can? To put people on insurance when I wouldn't work at that damn job unless I had the insurance. I got the insurance. I got to work the job. So single payer would free those people up right off the bat. They wouldn't have to stay in the workplace. They could change careers. They can retire when their body says it's time to retire, not when they get coverage for some insurance on some other way. Many reasons. Bottom line is, healthcare should not be a luxury item that you gotta pay for or afford. It should be a part of mainstay every day. Every modern country has adopted a single payer because it works. Okay? Because it works. Now we're going to give you the reasons why we have people who argue against it. Why they don't think single payer is good. Higher taxes. Of course, there's going to be higher taxes. You can't have one without the other, but it benefits us more. It benefits the middle class more for all of us to be covered with insurance, and we ain't got to worry about paying co-pays. We ain't got to worry about having a surgery. We ain't got to worry about visitations. We don't have to worry about none of that stuff, paying for none of that. If somebody told me that's all I had to do was pay $50 a month and everybody gets covered with insurance, I'd pay $50 a month. Would that include me? Everything I wanted to do when I wanted to see the doctor? Yes. Okay. Of course, taxes would go a different way. Okay. People who currently have good insurance may feel like they're paying more, but you wouldn't have medical insurance through your employer. You wouldn't have to take medical insurance through your employer. Not if your employer offered it. Okay. Not if you offered it, because right now I pay. Just for example, I would probably be paying $200 a month, or $250 a month. If somebody told me I would have to pay less, even if I had to pay $100 a month, $25 a week. Everybody got to pay $25 a week. or taxes or X, Y, Z. Everybody got to pay into it. Universal health care. Everybody got to pay the $20. $20 a week or $50 a month or whatever. But people wouldn't like that. So raising taxes or a standard deduction from your check would have to be met with that. But we already pay out of pocket if we work, so that shouldn't be a problem. People say longer wait times for some care. Who cares about longer wait times? The only time we care about longer wait times is when we get stuck in the fucking ER. Okay? They said delay of elective service. But elective services, those are things that you pay for, so there shouldn't be a delay. Not everybody is electing to have their boobs done. Not everybody is electing to have their lap band, gastric bypass. Ain't nobody, not too many people having that. So it's going to be a wait time for that anyway. Those are elective services. Specialist shortages. There's specialists all over this country. Why would there be a shortage? Everybody would be going to see the doctor. Well, I guess if everybody had if there was single payer, I guess people would be going to doctor who otherwise would not have went to the doctor before. Okay, I get that. They say less choice in insurance option. Why wouldn't it be less choice? Why would it be less choice? But some people might argue it might be less choice. Okay, people lose the ability to shop between plans. You can shop. You can get private insurance. Everybody's still able to get private insurance. All of us just wouldn't be subject to it. That's all. You all hit the like, share, and subscribe, please, and thank you. Okay. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Please, and thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. We're just having a conversation about single payer. I'm looking for things that us as middle class people can advocate for. We can advocate for single payer. Okay, another thing they held against single payer is government control. Government can't run nothing. Got X, Y, and Z. Well, you don't know that until we get to it. Single payer is different from what they do now. I mean, it's the same as what they do now, but single payer would be on a bigger scale, more expertise. Political fights over budgets, cuts during economic downturns. Then we would put that in the budget where we wouldn't get cut. They need to reform the system of that, what they do in Congress anyway. Seeing as how this president likes to interpret the Constitution how he wants to, maybe you need to reinterpret what needs to be on the chopping block when you guys do that budget, instead of turning all our shit off. Okay. Impact on innovation. Lower reimbursement rates could discourage doctors. Yeah, but we would put in place some kind of way to pay the doctors. There's a way to pay the doctors. They do it in other countries. They figure out how to do it in other countries. Then we need to figure out how to do it here. How to be able to pay our doctors with a premium rate. Okay. And many of these risks, the good and the bad, depend on how the system is designed. Do we have smart people enough? Do we have enough smart people that can help us design a system that's single payer? It's not automatically, single payer is not automatically perfect or terrible. It depends on the design. It solves a lot of our problems, but it does offer and create other challenges. The whole question is, can we do single payer? Yes, we can. But that's not the question. The question is, how good is the system? How good is the system designed? Is the design well enough in order to work for us to have single payer? Okay.
The entire purpose of the Affordable Care Act was not the Affordable Care Act. It was to take the United States towards single payer healthcare. That was the design 15 years ago. So the American people need to understand the reason why costs are rising in health care and in health insurance is by design, by congressional Democrats at the time, and by then President Barack Obama.
Because the Republicans said they didn't want single payer. But T-Mail, because the Republicans blocked it. Obama watered it down to where it was. Obama watered down Obamacare, trying to get Republicans on board, and the Republicans never would vote for it. They never would vote for Obamacare. It would have been single payer. It started off as single payer. Obamacare started off as single payer. But they tried to get the Republicans to buy into it, to have a bipartisan bill that he watered it down. Took out conditions, X, Y, and Z. No, it wasn't the Central Dems. We were all on board. All Democrats were voting for it. It was the Republicans that wouldn't vote for it. That's how Obamacare got watered down. And over the years, Republicans have watered it, tried to chip at it, piece by piece.
They did want a public option. They wanted to put a public option in the Affordable Care Act.
Right there. They wanted to put a public option in there. They watered it down because the Republicans didn't want them to put it in there. Trying to get the Republicans on board, but they never wanted to get on board.
That was going to be lower costs than what their own regulatory framework would allow in the private markets.
See that? That's a Republican telling you. No, I don't care who killed it. We're talking about trying to get it back because it helps, it benefits us.
The only reason they didn't get the public option is because they didn't have the votes. A guy named Scott Brown won a Senate election in Massachusetts. I know that sounds crazy today, but he did, and it stopped them from actually pushing forward with the public option, which, by the way.
And that was not a Democrat that would not give them the option. It was that guy, that one guy who got into Congress who was a Republican, who foiled the whole plan.
Its entire design was to move America towards single-payer health care. The arc of history in healthcare needs to be clear on this point. Single-payer healthcare does not work. It never will. Because to the point of my colleague from the other side of the aisle, single-payer is the very definition of vertical integration of the healthcare system, which will not lead to lower costs for the American people.
No one should ever be proud of paying health insurance, whether it's you paying it on your own or your employer paying it. And I realize that most people do not understand the difference between a single payer healthcare system and our current system. So here's our current system. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of things going on. So we have businesses, we have government, we have people, we have businesses giving paychecks to people, businesses paying for some insurance for their employees, government paying some through Medicare and Medicaid. But all the common denominator here is that the people that need the healthcare right over here, in order to get to getting their health care and paying for that, they have to go through all of these things. The insurance company. Now, why do we need the insurance company? What's the point? They're acting as a middleman. And a lot of that money that gets paid to them is not being used just for the healthcare or just for your healthcare. It goes into a lot of other things. But the admin and billing, this is where CEOs are taking a big portion out and paying these executives millions of dollars of your healthcare money. They can buy fancy yachts and boats. No admin, no CEO of a healthcare or insurance company should be a millionaire because that's your money that's meant for your healthcare. So let's look at what a single payer system looks like. Okay, so we have businesses pay you a paycheck. People pay taxes to the government. And look at here, businesses also pay taxes to the government instead of getting all of these handouts and corporate welfare. The government then has that money that is meant to go for your healthcare, and they are the ones that then pay for your healthcare. You take out the middleman. Cost for healthcare is lower. CEOs of insurance companies are not getting filthy rich off of your tax dollars and off of your insurance payment, and you end up saving a lot more money on your paycheck. Why? Because you're not paying these huge out-of-pocket costs, so you keep more money in your pocket. I don't understand how people don't understand this. And I want you to ask yourself, which one of these, the government or the insurance company, which one is for profit? They are for profit. The government works for us. So don't we want our tax dollars going towards ourselves? Yes.
This racist is the reason that we don't have single-payer healthcare in America. This is Frederick Ludwig Hoffman. He's considered the father of modern insurance. So if your claim is under review or denied, you can thank this man. He wasn't even born in the United States. He's German. He was a vehement racist. He wrote the book, The Race Traits and Tendencies of the American and the Appreciation and Interest. He believed that Black Americans were genetically inferior. He argued that Black Americans were predisposed to disease and early death because of genetic inferiorities and not the lack of health care and resources at the time. He also said that Black Americans were predisposed to diseases like pneumonia and tuberculosis because their bodies were just weaker and couldn't fight them off. And people listened to him. He was one of the biggest medical voices for his time period. It got to the point where leaders in the Black community like W.E.B. Du Bois challenged him directly, saying that high mortality rates in their communities were because of a lack of health care, poverty, and discrimination. He was one of the first statisticians for the Prudential Insurance Company, and he used his position as a statistician to push the insurance company to issue higher premiums for African Americans. He hated the idea of a single-payer medical system. He did not believe that everyone deserved health care, and he said that on the grounds of morality, everyone shouldn't be given it. He believed that only those who could afford health care had earned it, and only those who had lived responsible lives should have access to the best health care. He also believed that it would undermine natural selection. He was a eugenicist. He believed that a single-payer system would interfere with God and the natural process and the natural order of people dying. When Teddy Roosevelt was elected president, the idea of a single-payer healthcare system was gaining full steam in America. And Teddy Roosevelt wanted to do it, and he wanted to push it on a federal level. Insurance companies sent this man all around America to drum up support against a nationalized healthcare program. Hoffman pitched the idea to people all around America that insurance was a moral duty and that insurance can solve all of your problems. And he pitched insurance as a public health tool, saying that it was a symbol of financial security and middle-class stability in an industrialized society. And not only was it a way of protecting against the unexpected, but it was a way of managing your future. He was also extremely anti-immigrant. He pushed the idea of racial hierarchies, saying that Southern and Eastern Europeans were genetically inferior than the rest of Europe. He pushed the idea that they were less intelligent and therefore wouldn't be able to contribute to American society, that they were a public health risk, disease-ridden, and a burden to the healthcare system. He also pushed racial purity and believed in genetic fitness and proposed that people be put through a racial purity and genetic fitness test before being allowed into the country. It's believed that Hoffman's views are the reason that the Immigration Act of 1924 was actually passed. The Immigration Act of 1924 dramatically reduced immigration from Southern and Eastern Europe, and it prioritized countries that were Nordic or Scandinavian or Anglo-Saxon. This man also said that immigrants should be sterilized before they come to America so that they did not have kids here. And he also pushed for sterilization laws nationwide.
Now, he was a dick. He was a straight up dick. That shit don't even make sense to me. But it is what it is. He was a straight up dick. My whole point is this. We need to do something for the middle class. The middle class we need some help. We need some relief. And I get it. The Republicans squashed medical insurance this summer, and then they squashed it for real yesterday. Or was it yesterday or Thursday? And they squashed it yesterday. So there's going to be millions of people off insurance. These are people that work. Millions of people that work and people who don't work. The whole point is we need something for us to start helping the middle class.
Are still used today to deny single-payer health care.
I just want to talk about healthcare. Lifelong conservative who is having a hard time understanding what's going on with that. But I want to talk about healthcare. America's healthcare system is the most expensive in the world, yet millions of our citizens still cannot access basic care. People like Charlie Munger called this system a national disgrace, arguing that if America wants results that match its spending, we need a single-payer healthcare system. Warren Buffett said it even more bluntly: medical costs are the tapeworm of American competitiveness. When some of the most successful capitalists in history say that our healthcare system is broken, we should be listening. A single-payer system isn't about ideology. It is about efficiency. It's about cost control. It's about dignity. Right now, hospitals are drowning in administrative paperwork. Doctors spend more time fighting insurance companies than actually treating American patients. Families go bankrupt, not because they made bad choices, but because they got sick at the wrong time. As Munger said, we should have a basic level of care for everybody. That's not radical. That is not radical. That's humane, and it's happening all over the world in countries with less money than us.
And that's what I'm saying. It's happening all over the world in countries less rich, less everything than us. So why we can't have it? We as the middle class, need to start advocating for that. And I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats. I'm not talking about fighting amongst ourselves. We don't have anything. There's not one damn thing that the middle class got for themselves from this big, beautiful bill, from anything. I ain't seen not now one benefit from this big, beautiful bill. All of that money went to the rich people. Okay, fine. Now you need to do something for the middle class, and the middle class needs the single payer. All of it. We need everything that comes with that single payer. Y'all need to figure all of that up. Figure it out. And then we got the smartest people in this country. They can figure out how we can do universal health care. They can figure out how we can do single payer health care. Okay? Because that shit that happened yesterday with the Republicans kicking all of those people off Medicaid and kicking all those people off that health care, that ACA, that's a shame. That's a shame. And that was all based on the Republicans could have came to the table with a better proposal than what they came to. But they came to the table with a proposal that was shitty, was a straight shitty sandwich. You come to the table with a shitty sandwich that's worse than the shitty sandwich that we already got on the table. Okay? ACA is not all that good. I don't know what ACA is like. Who cares? Fix it to make it single payer. Fix it so everybody gets health care. We'll figure out what we need to do to pay for everybody to get it. Just make everybody take it. Fuck what we talking about. You all trashed the goddamn COVID. You trashed the COVID vaccine. You did all of that. We ain't finna do that. We not finna fuck with y'all on this single payer. We gonna advocate for this single payer so everybody gets insurance. So we don't have to fucking hear about people fighting over insurance in government when we shouldn't even be fighting over insurance in government. Okay? The whole point, yes, ACA started out as we wanted to do a single payer. Now we got millions of people that ain't getting shit. That's unacceptable. We live in the greatest country in the world. We live in the most prosperous country in the world. Other countries can afford single payer. Figure it the fuck out. This is what we are telling our government. Figure it the fuck out. If we don't advocate for shit else, we need to advocate for that. If we don't fight for nothing else, we need to fight for that. The whole point is for everybody not to have to struggle to pay it. As I said to some folks, I went to the doctor and they told me I had to pay $270 just to look at what the fuck I was talking about. That don't even make no sense to me. If you want something special, you want a boob job, you want your ass did, you want specialized shit, then you can get insurance. You can go to the private insurances and get that. But everybody here in the country should have basic universal care. Everybody should have basic universal care.
Economists and famous thinkers will point out that single-payer countries spend half of what we do and deliver equal or better outcomes. They treat healthcare as infrastructure, something that lifts the entire nation's productivity. Infrastructure. Healthcare is infrastructure. Now, we should be honest. A transition is not going to be simple. We need to decide how to replace private insurers, whether they offer supplemental plans like in France, or if we shift into new roles, we'd need a smart taxation model, potentially using payroll contributions, maybe similar to Medicare. And we'd need provider incentives that reward patient outcomes instead of just billing volume. None of these challenges are impossible. Other advanced countries have solved this problem decades ago. I thought we were great. The question is not whether we can do it. The question is whether we have the courage to put people first instead of profits.
The whole point is that's what we're going to start advocating for. We're going to start advocating for single payer. That's what we're going to start advocating for. Okay? Expand Medicaid, expand Medicare. Do whatever you need to do. Expand it. Tell everybody who's a working human being, if you're a working human being, X, Y, and Z. Throw it in our taxes. Our taxes go up by 1%. That's it. We don't go up no more, however it needs to cost. But you all can figure it the fuck out. You can figure it the fuck out. Change ACA so it's Medicare. Change the ACA to make it a single payer. Okay? Change ACA to make it single payer. And present that. Present it on the floor. But see, here's the thing. We have senators and congresspeople that are getting paid by the insurance companies in order to give us this shitty ass insurance, this shitty ass way of life. So we have to fucking fight for this man. If we don't fight for nothing else, we need to fight for something, for the middle class. I'm talking about the middle class. I ain't talking about poor people. We're not talking about rich people. We're talking about the middle class that make between 30,000 and 150,000. I'm talking about the people that struggle every freaking day to put money in everybody else's pocket besides our own. And we never get anything. We never get anything. It's always about the poor. It's always about the rich. It ain't never about the middle class. I'm talking about poor. I'm talking about the middle class, us working poor. We can't afford to get sick. We can't afford to go to the emergency room. We can't afford to get medicine. No. Our middle class deserves better. We deserve better. So I'm going to take it upon myself to advocate for that. Every chance I get in front of a goddamn congressman, I'm going to say, we need single payer. Every chance I get to get on a goddamn platform, I'm going to say single payer. Don't talk to me about medical insurance. What y'all do is y'all go back to the drawing board up in that goddamn Washington Congress. Them people that pay y'all to advocate against us, y'all need to give that money back. And then you need to start advocating to give us single payer. That's what y'all need to do. All that money y'all collect from these damn insurance companies to not give us a single payer, you need to give that goddamn money back. And then you need to start giving us single payer. Y'all need to figure out how to do it because we got smartest people in the fucking world that can figure out how to give us Medicare, give us free healthcare. Figure it the hell out. Because I'm tired of us always talking about the poor people. Always got to help the poor people. Always got to pull the poor. Don't get me wrong. I am advocating for the poor people. I advocate for the veterans, the homeless, the elderly, poor kids. Of course, I advocate for those. But I want to see something that comes to the middle class because we getting treated like shit. Every time election comes around, we get treated like shit. We always got to give money to people overseas. We always got to give money to help with these wars. We always got to give money, but we don't never get shit. Eric, you want me to kick you out of my fucking chat? Say it again, bitch made nigga. Say it again. We talking about helping the middle class. If you don't want to help the middle class, shut the fuck up. We're not talking about nothing else. This is what we're talking about. Helping the middle class. If you don't have nothing constructive to say, shut the fuck up. So we're always dealing with the rich people getting money to the rich people. Always. So we need to start advocating for single payer. It's the only way that's going to work for the middle class. It's the only way we're going to catch relief. We can't afford a house. Can't afford a house, can't afford a goddamn car, can't afford no vacation, can't afford none of this shit. No, we need something. You rich people are always getting shit. Trump is always giving the rich people tax cuts. The Democrats is always working for the poor people. I don't see nobody working for the middle class. Fuck that. This is what we want. We want single payer. This is what we want. And we want y'all to do that for us. Okay? Figure it out. Figure out how it can be done. Figure out how we don't have to pay $1 million for prescriptions. Figure it out. Do your negotiation. I don't give a shit what y'all do. I don't care how y'all do it, what y'all do. But you better come up with some kind of medical insurance within the next 6 months. Some kind of single payer thing within the next 6 months. And we're going to put that on our platform or any kind of platform it is to talk to people. We're going to talk to them about single payer. Because it's the only thing that we all universally know that people should have. We can be a Democrat, we can be a Republican. I swear to God, we can go back to fighting any other time. We can go back to fighting at any other time. But when it comes to single payer, we all need to be on the same fucking script. When it comes to the middle class, between 30,000 and 150,000, we all need to be on the same fucking script. And that means every time we talk to a rich motherfucker that works in Congress, we're going to holler out single payer. Single payer. That's what we need to be saying. Single payer. And I don't care how y'all talk to the pharmaceutical people, how y'all talk to the insurance companies, but you better get them on board. Okay? Get them on board. We telling you what we want as a middle class, because the middle class don't get shit. I never hear them advocating for middle class. I hear the Republicans always fucking around, want to deal with the rich people, always want to get a rich people tax cuts, always want to get a rich, always gonna trickle down to the poor people. No, the fuck it ain't. I ain't seen it trickle down to me yet. And the Democrats always talking about the poor people. Let's help the poor people. Let's pull the poor people up. Let's help them. Boost them. But all that, no, I don't want to hear about the poor people. I don't give a shit about the poor people right now. What I give a damn about is the middle class. This is what we want. We can all agree on this right here. That's it. And sure enough, it ain't going to be easy, but I bet you what, every time we get into a crowd, every time we get in front of one of them congressmen, y'all better be screaming out single payer. That's what we want. Middle class needs the single payer. Middle class needs the single payer.
Okay? Because at the end of the day, this is about values. American children deserve to see a doctor without fear. American seniors deserve to age with dignity, not debt. And working families deserve stability, not surprise bills. We can build a system where everyone gets basic care, where emergencies don't destroy lives, and where our healthcare dollars finally go toward health, not bureaucracy. I say that as a conservative, and as someone who cares about other people. Single payer is the path that aligns with our economic interests, our moral responsibilities, and our American promise.
I think Daddy Donnie has sort of figured out that it would be better if we had a single payer system that was run by the government than letting insurance companies do it and make record profits when all they are middlemen. They don't provide health care. They just are the ones that say whether or not they're going to pay for the care that you received or the prescription that you need or the new treatment that you need. I think that's what he's thinking, because it's pretty close. Because he doesn't want the money to go to insurance companies because they make record profits. But where are we going to get health insurance from then? Is there going to be a different option? Something that I'm kind of drawing a blank, honestly. I don't know what this other thing would be besides universal health care. Because if you cut out insurance companies, that's what we would have to do. And it works all over the world. And those people live longer than we do and are healthier and happier than we are. So just think about that when you rush to my comments section to tell me how stupid I am or whatever you people, you MAGAs like to say to me. Have a good night.
What is a single-payer healthcare system and why do we need it? In a single-payer system,
did make any darn sense. It's a patchwork quilt system that was never thoughtful. And the Affordable Care Act was designed to close that giant gap of the people who did not get health care through their employer, were too rich for Medicaid, too young for Medicare, and caught in the middle. It started doing that, but ma'am, you're right. If you have a plan with a $6,000 deductible, what the Sam Hill do you really have? No Medicare. So, I support Medicare for all. One system for every American, cradle to grave. If you ask me, well, isn't that too expensive? I will tell you it's a heck of a lot less expensive than what we have now. Because now, every employer is a healthcare provider unto themselves. We don't duplicate effort, we quadrillion effort. We have whole administrations for Medicaid, Medicare, VA, all of that is duplication of cost. So what we have now is the least rational way to provide health care.
Did you know that in the state of Oregon, a few years ago, they tried to pass single-payer health insurance for the entire state? It lost by about 10,000 votes.
First of all, everybody can't afford to pay for health insurance like that, Mike. That's the point. Did I or did I not say, stop thinking of what you need and start thinking of what all of us need? Not just you, all of us need. There's people at the 30,000 in who can't afford it like you. Give them the money and they pay for it. They ain't going to pay for it because they don't have the money. We're trying to make sure everybody has health insurance. Stop thinking of y'all. I swear to God, if you could get out of your own fucking skin and think of somebody else besides you, maybe we can get some of this shit done. Maybe you'll start thinking of other people besides yourself. I'm talking about the people who can't afford it. All tides raise everybody. Everybody gets raised with all tides. If we all stick together and say we want this one thing. Stop telling me the government don't know how to do it. Stop telling me that just because somebody's poor or they need to make it X, Y, and Z, they can't afford it. Okay? Most people can get, yes, just imagine how it would be when you don't have to pay that $300 a month and you can go to any doctor that you want to without having to pay for copay, without having to pay $300-$400 for prescriptions, X, Y, and Z. That's the whole point, is to figure out how to make it work for everybody. Everybody keeps thinking, oh, I'm getting employer insurance. I'm getting the best. I'm paying my employer $50 a week. Ooh-wee, I'm getting the best. That's wild. That's wild. We talking about taking the insurance companies out of the middle. Why screw the many for the few? Lord have mercy. You need to get out of my chat, Mike, because you only thinking about yourself. And go on, keep thinking about yourself. Keep doing the same shit you've been doing. Let's just keep, whoever is like Mike need to get out of my chat, and you need to keep doing the same bullshit you've been doing, because it's working so well for everybody. Keep doing it. Keep doing the same thing and not getting no fucking where. Just keep doing the same thing. I'm talking about people who actually want to change the direction of this country. I'm talking about people who want to change the direction of this country, and not just for the rich. Mike talking about letting the rich take care of everything. Mike want the rich to have the money. Mike want the rich to keep getting their money.
And with that time period, since then, they have created an entire committee to map out a pathway to a single payer program within the state, which is absolutely fascinating. So the reason that it ended up actually failing was that they were trying to pass something without a clear line and developed plan into where it was going to be paid for, who was paying for it, exactly how that system would roll out. Now they have a committee that includes doctors, legal team, etc., put together by OHA, Oregon Health Authority, which is the same oversight committee that put together the medical program. which now is overseen by OMMP and OLCC. So we're going to see a clear pathway to single payer health insurance within the state of Oregon by the end of the year, and it should be allegedly back on the ballot in 2026. And we may be the very first state to have universal health care. The more you know.
It's a very move on your part to keep avoiding Dean.
Then debate me.
People like
Let
you.
me on the mic. Let me on the mic.
Get Dean on the mic. That's the whole reason I came up here.
Thank you.
More now and maybe less when you get sick, and then you look at how the market.
Charlie Kirk, but it's not worth it. Do you think me and Kirk should have a conversation? 100%. You got to get me up there, man.
You may be purposely ignoring you.
This is proving to be very difficult.
I think that we are in the free market.
No, Mike, I think you're one of those slave people. I think you're one of the slave people. I think you're one of the people that has bought into the system and you think the system needs to stay that way, the way it is. I think you're one of those people. And the thing is, when you decide that you're not going to go along with the system, you start changing and bucking what you know. You obviously cannot think beyond your fingers. You obviously can't think beyond what you know. Okay? I know, and most people know, single payer is available. Why do you think? My question is this. Why did the Republicans choose not to give these people that ACA subsidies? Why? Why did the Republicans decide that they didn't want to give these people that ACA subsidy? Wasn't they harping all day, every day for the past week about giving the middleman the money? Wasn't they the ones harping about giving the middleman the money? And you're in the chat talking about, let's just keep giving the middleman our money. Let's just keep giving the middleman our money. That's what I'm talking about. People who are scared to think beyond their fingers.
Anyone should be able to come up here and challenge and debate. If you're really for that, as you say you would allow someone to come up here and debate you on that.
Explaining American healthcare to my British friend this morning was wild. She called, we were chatting, she wanted to know what the big deal was with these ACA subsidies. So I said, well, why don't I just explain to you how the marketplace works? So I log on to Covered California and I start explaining my plan. And she goes, so that's the plan everybody has. I said, no, that's the plan I had this year. Now I have to pick from like 19 or 20 plans for next year. So she goes, well, how do you pick a plan? I said, well, in very simplistic terms, you decide if you want to pay a bit less now and more later if you get sick, or if you want to pay more now and maybe less when you get sick, and then you look at coverage and what doctors are covered and that kind of thing. She goes, well, okay, well, how much do each of these different plans and options cost? So I start going through the different plans with her and telling her the prices. She goes, okay, well, you're going to pay all that money and then you don't pay anything more, right? And I said, well, no, not actually. Then we pay for a copay usually when we go see a doctor, and then we pay a little bit more for a copay for a specialist, and then we pay for our prescriptions. And it depends on which prescription it is and then what insurance company it is as to how much they're going to charge you. She's like, you pay all that and then you still pay more? And you guys are fighting to keep this system?
Why should I be paying for someone else's health care? I prefer the current system where not only do I pay for someone else's health care through my premiums, but I pay for some blood-sucking middleman's salary whose sole purpose is to deny me health care.
That's exactly what Mike in the chat is advocating for right there. He don't mind paying. He want to pay for somebody else's health care. He want to pay the bloodsuckers. He want to keep the same system that he got. And I'm saying everybody's whining about the system working. And the system don't work. And the system is flawed. And the system is fucked up. Okay, then let's change the system. And that's all we saying. Let's change the system. That's crazy. You advocating to do the same bullshit that we've been doing. I don't understand. I don't understand that weird mentality. That's some goofy shit. You advocating, you say the system is fucked up and broken, but yet you're advocating to keep the same shit. I don't understand. That's the whole point. Change the system.
Yep. Yep. It's exactly right.
You know?
Well, Of course, in the right will make the argument, well, Canadian doctors don't make money.
Better's good. We're not going to get to perfect. If you're telling me that the Affordable Care Act is going to insure 50 million people, do I think that's better than if we were starting from scratch and I could get a single payer plan instituted and get that through Congress and suddenly we had universal health care and we had taken the profit motive out of, do I think that would probably be a smarter way to do it? Absolutely. Since I can't do that, I don't have the votes for that. How about this?
Since I can't do that, how about this? Wendell, that's Barack Obama saying he wanted a single-payer universal health care system and had to settle for the ACA.
It is truthful. He was on record saying he supported a single-payer healthcare system. He did settle largely because of some of the people who were around him, like Rahm Emanuel and others, just said, you're not going to be able to get anything through. The industry is too powerful. And there's a lot of truth to that. I was in the industry during the early days of the Clinton administration when the Clintons were trying to do something bold on healthcare. And I was a part of the industry effort to make sure that didn't happen.
Didn't Trump say something sort of along those lines?
You did.
Everybody's got to be covered. This is an un-Republican thing for me to say.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody. I don't care if it costs me votes or not.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side.
So why is it that now we can't get it? Why is it we can't do that? I'd be behind President Trump if he advocated for us to have everybody get covered. Why we can't do that? Okay. Yes, we dare to dream, Mike. We dare to dream. And it's not that far away. We could have put ACA, we could reinvent ACA. We could reinvent Obamacare and make it single payer. We could figure this all the way out. Single payer. I swear to God, I'm going to advocate from here on out. I'm going to advocate from here on out. If we do a blue wave, if there's a blue wave in 2028, and we get a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate, I'm going to be pushing for single payer. Just here, we're going to codify that. We're going to make sure it's single payer. They're going to figure out how they can get it done. Right now, I'm going to sure be advocating for the person that runs for Democratic, who wants the nomination for the Democratic Party. No, we need single payer. Okay? Because we can't be doing the system that we're doing. The system that we're doing ain't working. So why the hell wouldn't you change the system if the system ain't working? I don't understand. He said we living in la la land, yet he wants the same shitty stuff. You living in the same shitty system. Why not change the system to make it better? Who knows if it's going to be better or worse, but it sure as hell can be better than what's going on. That's my point.
Anyone who's a thinking politician knows that what we have now is stupid and wasteful, but we've got to do a lot of work told there.
So what we have right now is stupid and wasteful. And we got people in the chat advocating to keep the same shitty plan. That's crazy. That's crazy. Why not try out for the single? We can't get no worse. We can't get no worse. I think you need medication, Sergeant Wood.
Candidates more
Chipper.
Accountable and to help them understand it, how to talk about this in ways that break through.
That's really the challenge. Forget about labels. Let's say tomorrow you woke up and you could go see a doctor when you get sick. You didn't have to worry about deductibles and copays and all that stuff. Would you prefer that? Keep it really simple. If you could change people's lives overnight, they would appreciate it forever. If the Democrats mess around and let Republicans figure this out, then they're going to be voting Republican forever.
You're exactly right.
Today, Americans spend more on healthcare than on groceries or housing. This is a crisis.
This is crazy. That's crazy. I forgot. You all hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. We have this kind of content every day. We have some kind of thought process every day. Today is single payer. We are trying to figure out this single payer thing. Do we want to afford it? We can afford it. It ain't going to be expensive. It's not expensive. We can afford it. Okay? We can afford it. We sent $40 billion to goddamn Argentina. We send money to Egypt. We send money to Australia. We send to Israel. We send money to Ukraine. We can afford healthcare. Stop it. Okay? We don't want to hear about we can't afford it. It can be afforded. We just got to figure it out.
Doing nothing is not a solution.
Yeah, and we were joking that just wait, some Democrat is going to
Yeah, not doing nothing. The Republicans just voted to kill Obamacare and to kill Medicare. What the fuck are you doing? What is going on? They are trying to kill the middle class. I'm advocating for the middle class. We ain't advocating for nobody else. We are advocating for the middle class. He can't be criminally prosecuted, Trump, for life. Do y'all need medication or what? Do you need medication, Trump, for life? Didn't your scumbag president went to Supreme Court and got them to give him immunity, right? Scumbag got immunity, Trump for life. So therefore, every president that's in office can't be charged for crimes criminally. Man, do y'all be thinking or you just be running your mouth, Trump for life? What is this garbage right here? Come on. Get it together. Get into the game with that dumb shit. Your president went to the Supreme Court to make sure that no president would be charged with any kind of criminality while he was in office. So you saying Obama is going to be charged with anything? Shut your dumb ass up. And we ain't talking about that.
I come to defense of insurance companies.
That's what's going to happen. Exactly right. These skyrocketing premiums are another example and really highlighting the issue. I just think it's really important that people make this a part of their requirements for candidates that they get behind.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Well-meaning Democrats actually do care about people and want people to have health care. They're just so conditioned that this is not doable.
Yeah.
That is the...
Yeah, that's the mindset of everybody. It's that I can't do it. Y'all don't want got that slave mentality. You got that slave mentality. If you think we can't do single payer healthcare, yes, we can. We can do single payer healthcare. The whole point was everybody needs to act on it. Everybody needs to argue for it. Everybody needs to put their hat in the ring. We need to get some skin in the game. Okay? We need to get some skin in the game. So once we all get some skin in the game and we all invest in this saying we're middle class. I'm talking about the middle class. Like I told you all, I am sick of them advocating, the Democrats advocating for poor people, and that's all they advocate for is the poor people. And I get it. They advocate for the poor people thinking, okay, you help the poor people, you help the middle class too. If you make people rise up into the middle class, I get that. But also, the Republicans are always advocating for rich people to get everything. And the rich people are supposed to drop their money down and then let the rest of that money swing down into our pockets. And that shit never happens. That shit never happens. We never get no kind of benefit from the rich people getting their money. The rich people keep their money in their pocket. Stop it. So the whole point is I'm advocating for the middle class. Middle class between 30,000 and 150. I'm advocating for them. Fuck the rest. The money and the poor people. We ain't talking about them. We're talking about the middle class. Don't come up here talking about anything else unless we talking about the middle class and fucking single payer. Okay? We can figure it the fuck out. You can figure it the fuck out.
Bubble that needs to get popped. No, we can do this. And honestly, we can't afford not to do this anymore.
In a lot of other countries, they show up at the doctor's office and they get taken care of.
The whole point is it's unsustainable not to do anything. That's the whole point. It's unsustainable not to do anything. And these people are advocating not to do anything. Democrats want something. Republicans shot it down. What the hell we gonna do? Now y'all done took it off the table. Now it's off the table. Now we want single payer, and we want single payer back on the table.
I'm making this video today because it needs to be said. My goal with this video is to make a strong case for going to a single payer system. Now, I do work for a major commercial insurance company, and I can tell you that the insurance industry is a complete scam. You know it, I know it, and people like to pretend that universal health care is not a viable solution, and I'm here to tell you that it is. And the best way that I can explain it to you is that we already pay into a Medicare system. The United States spends a lot of money already combating like medical expense waste. We already are spending a ton of money like dealing with that, and switching everyone to a Medicare for all system would essentially not cost us a whole lot more, if any at all. I believe it would actually save us money. But I don't have like numbers and data that I can throw out there, because the insurance industry really prevents people from doing that. My company actually encourages us to go out and slander Medicare for all, single payer systems. It's crazy. Like, they would actually say, like, hey, we want you to go, and we strongly suggest that you go and make a comment that to these Congress people that a single payer system wouldn't be a viable solution. When in all reality, it would. It would just prevent people from getting rich off of it, because these insurance companies are making billions of dollars. They're collecting all these premiums, and they're nickel and diming providers, and like, they're negotiating these contracts with, my dog's insane. They're negotiating with doctors and providers in bad faith. They're partnering up with prescription drug companies and basically making exclusive contracts. They're eliminating drugs off of formularies just because, like, they signed this deal with this company to do that. And it's really frustrating. And then the employers that are, going to these health insurance companies are basically, like, negotiating with no idea what they're doing, and they're getting bad plans just because, they're trying to save a buck or two. It's a horrible, horrible system. Commercial insurance is completely fucked, and people don't realize that they're already paying into a pool. You're paying into a pool when you pay into an insurance company. So, like, why wouldn't we all just do that? It would make everybody's costs so much significantly less, and then we can use the commercial insurance companies to pick up the extra 20% that Medicare for all wouldn't cover. That'd be a way better idea. Have a great day.
I'm angry. I just voted to prevent health insurance premiums from spiking for millions and millions of Americans, because today was our last chance in Congress to save the Affordable Care Act subsidies that help people afford care before they expire at the end of the year. And what did Republicans do? They voted no. They voted to increase health care costs across the board. And now millions of Americans are left with the impossible decision of choosing between paying for health insurance or paying their rent. Let's be clear. Republicans voted to make health care more expensive. They've all fallen in line behind Donald Trump and left American families in the dirt. It is truly shameful.
People have really strong opinions on single payer healthcare. It could be the silver bullet that fixes our healthcare system, or it could be, but most people don't even know what single payer means. So let's start with what we have. You can think of the American healthcare system as a series of tubes. We do not have single payer healthcare. We have thousands and thousands of payer healthcare, and each of them typically pay different amounts for the exact same medical service. And that's a lot of administrative work. For every 3 doctors in the United States, you have 2 billing staff standing behind them, just handling all that paperwork that comes in and out of a doctor's office. If you think of a single payer system, it is just one tube of payments. All money flows from the government to the doctors. And it's actually pretty popular elsewhere. Medicare here in the US is like that. It pays all the healthcare bills for people over 65. But there's also a catch. When the government is the one paying all the bills, they get to decide what they will and will not pay for. If the system isn't funded well enough, if they haven't raised enough taxes from their citizens, that could lead to longer wait times and fewer doctors being available. Vermont right now is trying to set up the very first single-payer healthcare system in the United States. By one estimate, Vermont could save 25%, but it's also expensive. The state government in Vermont needs to raise $2 billion. That is a lot of maple syrup. But people really dislike the American healthcare system. It gets pretty poor marks from Americans. And if you look at neighboring Massachusetts, their healthcare experiment in 2006 did lead to Obamacare. So if this does work in Vermont, who knows what could be next?
Somebody keeps saying, let's give them the money. Let's put the money in people's pocket. and let them get insurance. Let's put the money. What exactly does that mean? Can somebody put in the chat, what does that mean? Get your own insurance and let you give the money back to the people instead of letting the insurance company have the money, and so they can get their own insurance. Can somebody explain that to me? Because I'm curious. What does that mean? Because that means to me, what it means to me is I'm an insurance company and I charge $1,000 a month for you to get insurance through me. It starts at $1,000 a month. So if nobody can get insurance unless they pay for it themselves, and we ain't giving the insurance company money, does that mean I got to come up with $1,000 because I can't get no insurance nowhere else? But what if I can't come up with $1,000? What if I can't come up with $1,000? I just die over in the weeds somewhere, huh? That's the whole point. The whole point is not for people to die, because healthcare should be something that everybody has. They can get healthcare in this country. They just don't want to. These insurance companies could shift their money they could shift their profit to the administrative contracts. They could offer supplemental insurance. They could offer all of the Cadillac insurances that they wanted at a reasonable price. All of them. Okay? They wouldn't have a lot of people on their voter rolls. Their money would be standard, or it could be predictable. They wouldn't have all these overhead costs. There would be advantages for insurance companies to do this too. They just don't want the kickbacks that they keep getting every month. If we take the kickbacks back, take the kickbacks out of it, I think we could actually save a lot of money. We could save a lot of money. Okay? If I want to get weight loss surgery, I would be able to negotiate with an insurance company to get that weight loss surgery. Okay? And then they'd probably make some money. So skews. I don't understand how we're having a conversation about single payer when the current system doesn't work correctly. The pros of single payer: universal coverage, everybody's insured, no exceptions, lower healthcare costs, of course, cutting the insurance middleman out, no out-of-pocket network surprises. You can see any doctor. Doctors make the decision. You make the decision, not insurance companies. And the drug prices, of course. Ain't nobody paying for the skyrocketing prices no more. Most people can't afford no drug price. Most people can't afford to go and pay $200 every month for medical prescriptions. Specifically, the most people who have those medical prescriptions is older people. They can't afford that. The X's against it would be higher taxes. That would be our cost. That would be our burden to bear. Higher taxes. Okay. Government control. People always whining about the government can't do X, Y, and Z. Okay, let's be for real. I haven't heard of too many fucked up things going on with the public aid, Medicaid. I haven't heard of them not being able to handle that. Okay. People say, oh, okay, well, you might have some wait times. You might not be able to see the doctor that you want to. I don't understand how that would be negative. We do that now. They just don't want to cut out the middleman. They just don't want to cut out the rich people from getting the money that they get. But that's the whole point. The whole point is to settle these things before we get started. Okay. They said taxes will go up. Yeah, but the premiums and the deductibles and the surprise bills go away. We don't have those anymore. And then somebody in the chat say, oh, government can't run no healthcare. They can't run nothing. They already do. Medicare already is run by government. with lower costs and private insurance, lower cost than private insurance. You say, oh, I got insurance. I want to keep the same insurance I got. You lose the insurance company, not your doctor. That's the point. That is the whole point. This is wild. But it is what it is. Right now, single payer keeps coming up because everybody needs insurance. No matter the job, no matter the income, no matter the zip code. At the end of the day, it's about helping the middle class. I'm worried about the middle class. I'm thinking about the middle class, 30,000 and 150,000. Everybody deserves health care. Okay? Everybody deserves health care. And this is what we need to be advocating for as the middle class. As the middle class, we need to be telling our politicians, this is what we want. You need to figure out how to get a single payer. I understand y'all got donors. I understand y'all getting paid from somebody. But you're screwing over the American people, specifically the middle class. You're screwing us over, and we're tired of getting screwed over. We're tired of getting screwed over. Every time we turn around, we got to pay for this. We got to pay for that. You got to pay for this. This got to come out of your pocket. No. Medical insurance should be okay for us to get, and everybody should be able to get it. Okay. I have no idea what I'm talking about, tech. Absolutely nothing I'm saying makes sense. Absolutely. But yet, it still makes sense to keep the same system. Y'all make it make sense. Y'all wild. You advocating for the same bullshit. Every day. I ain't know one damn check that I done been in that ain't nobody been bitching about healthcare. It's too expensive. ACA ain't no good. Obamacare ain't no good. Okay, then fine. Let's talk about single payer. Oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about, single payer. Oh, no, y'all advocating for some free shit. Oh, no, it ain't never gonna happen. The government can't run shit. That's wild. I ain't never met a bunch of people that's advocating for the rich people to get all their money in all my life. ACA is better than the alternative. I get that completely. But I'm saying they don't want ACA. The Republicans keep appealing ACA. The Republicans keep kicking ACA off the table. Like they don't want to fix it. I haven't seen the Republicans come to the table yet with a proposal to change to replace Obamacare. We ain't seen nobody come to the table yet to give us something that will replace Obamacare. Not one person. Not one human being. Okay, so since y'all don't want ACA, y'all don't want people to have medical, okay, then you're going to give us medical because we're going to advocate to get single payer. We're going to set up a website. We're going to set up something. And we're going to have people go there and sign and say, we want single payer. And then we're going to present that shit to Washington. We're going to present that shit to the people in Congress. Okay? They don't want it. We want it. I don't give a fuck what they want. I don't give a fuck what they want. Now, at this point, they don't care what we want. Why the hell should I give a fuck what they want? I don't give a damn what the Democrats want. I don't give a damn what the Republicans want. What I want is the middle class to be stood up for. People who make between 30 and 150K. Democrats always advocating for the poor people. Republicans always advocating for the rich people. I'm advocating for the middle class. Middle class been forgotten. Middle class, they don't even talk about the middle class. They don't give a damn about the middle class. You know what? I give a damn about the middle class. So the middle class needs single payer. So now we finna fight for single payer. If we're gonna fight for anything else, we can come together on that one idea right there. Okay? Trump, you can get to Trump and tell Trump, we want single payer. I bet you his ass to get on top of it. Hey, Donald, we can make single payer. We can put it in your name. And you would definitely be remembered forever if we put the single payer in your name. That's my whole point. My whole point is let's get it done. We don't give a damn how it gets done. It helps the middle class. We need to help the middle class. Forget all these other classes. Forget the rich. Forget the poor. We need to help the middle class. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. I'm saying that right there. Okay? I don't care about the ACA. The ACA, they're trying to kill the ACA. Fix the ACA, fix it so it's single payer, or get rid of it, but do something. Do something. You can't even explain to me what single payer is, Tech. I don't listen to people like you. If I listen to people like you, I wouldn't have the things that I have. If I listen to you, people wouldn't have shit that they have. If they listen to people saying no, you can't do it. How many times do people tell you no and you just accept no? I just want to know. Every time somebody tell you no, it can't be done, you just accept it. You just accept it. Every person in here, damn near every person who walked in the door and said ACA is fucked up, medical is fucked up, and I said to you, hey, well then let's try something that may work. We don't know whether it'll work or not, but we need to try something because the current system ain't working. That's wild. That's wild to me. You come in and say it don't work, but then when somebody say, let's try something else, you say, oh, no, it ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work either. Well, then what the fuck is gonna work? Put whatever the fuck gonna work on the table so everybody can analyze it. I just put single payer on the table. Put something on the table that might work. Don't fucking tell me that it can't work and then you ain't got no alternative. You sound like a fucking Republican. Ain't got shit to replace it, but you running around here talking about it won't work. I don't understand. If you don't want ACA, figure out something else. I said single payer. I proposed single payer. There might be something better than single payer. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Then put it on the table so everybody can see what the fuck you're talking about. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The whole point is, for all of us to have health care, the government has to be involved. In order for us to not get screwed over by the insurance companies, the government has to be involved. Saving Ferris, I thought you thought this. Some of y'all ain't thought this true. It is what it is. But this is what I'm advocating for. I'm advocating for single payer. You all please hit the like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. No, what we got right now is not working. So any form of what working, giving the insurance companies money, that's not working. So if you finna throw the solution out that, oh yeah, we all keep what we want and then the rest of us get something else, that don't work. That's not the solution. That's not what I'm trying to hear. So most people are, but most people would be even happier with single payer because then you keep your doctor and you wouldn't have to pay no money like that. So it is what it is. Somebody come up with a better line, we'll talk about it in another live. Somebody come up with something better. I don't know. Come up with something better. I don't know. I propose single payer. That's the only thing I can think where everybody gets what they want out of single payer. Shit, the government, the congressmen take single payer. The congressmen get single payer. Donald Trump and all of them, they get single payer. You ain't came up with no solution, Mike. You ain't came up with no suggestion. Only thing you came up with, no, let's keep doing the same thing we've been doing. Okay, fine. That's your proposal. Then you keep doing the same thing. I know that it's not working. So since it's not working, I'm not listening to people who come in and say, that's all we need to do is keep our same insurance. I'm not listening to people like that because we never get anywhere if we continue to do the same thing over and over again. We never get nowhere. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm even more unhappy this year than I was last year. That's crazy. The government has to be involved. That's the only way to get single payer. Who would be single payer, Saving Ferris? Who would be our single payer? Who would be the person to collect the money and do all what they need to do, Savings Ferris? Who? This is the question. You keep saying the government doesn't have to be involved. Somebody has to be involved. It has to be one person that we pay. Who is that person? That's all I'm saying. Yes, Obamacare may be a joke, but come up with a solution to help Obamacare. Let's scrap Obamacare and get single payer. Okay? That's what I propose. Scrap Obamacare, get single payer, or turn Obamacare into single payer. That's what I propose. Okay? Somebody else got another thought process. Somebody can come up with something different. Let me know. Put it in the chat at some particular point. Okay? I don't know. We got to figure something out because the poor people need something. You all hit the like, share, and subscribe. We have content all day, every day, every once in a while. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. You know I'll be back. Maybe we'll have some more answers later on. But right now, hit the like, share, and subscribe. We will be back later on today. We might have something else on it. We're going to have something else on the chopping block. Something else on the chopping block. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.